They do. Sailfish Roofing, 772-263-ROOF. Community roofing company you can trust. Sailfish Roofing. Now here's WPTV's First Alert meteorologist.
Your WPTV First Alert forecast. This afternoon, highs in the mid-80s, more humid with a few afternoon showers and storms. Overnight, some patchy fog possible with lows down in the low 70s. Tomorrow, warm and humid, highs in the mid-80s. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds and just a few passing showers as a weak front moves in. Behind that front, temperatures down in the low 80s. Friday into the weekend, the humidity goes down, but our winds start to pick up. I'm WPTV First Alert meteorologist Katya Hall for WSTU 1450, Martin County's Heritage Station.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time to call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788, 220-WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Welcome back. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I ate too much, as I do every year, and I hope everybody had that opportunity as well. But a good way to work off some of that Thanksgiving weight is to go out to the Carnival of Lights. It's happening every weekend at the Martin County Fairgrounds from 5:30 to 9 p.m., and that's Fridays through Saturdays. The Carnival of Lights is bigger than last year. It features a castle Christmas. It was formerly in Isleworth and Palm City and added exhibits of 150 nativity sets, a nutcracker collection, huge ceramic Christmas village, and a nonprofit expo. There's all kind of 60 local nonprofits, all kinds of things. The train club is out there, the Model Train Club. Admission is just $10. If 10 and under is free. And folks, I was there last weekend. It was wonderful. I cannot tell you how amazing Jay Spicer and his elves out at the Martin County Fair have really made an event for everybody to enjoy. And that light display, the Castle Christmas, incredible. It's a must-see. Pictures do not do it justice. So hope you can make it out there. Also want to remind everybody about the best kept secret in Martin County. You can come by boat, car, or stroll the boardwalk to explore what the best kept secret has to offer. The boardwalk features local artists, Airbnb, art gallery, boat charters, marina, and craft and creamery. Craft beers, wine, and 24 flavors of ice cream, so something for the entire family. And while you're out there, you can rent some bikes or paddle boards, enjoy the marina, all kinds of fun things to do. And that is at the Fish House Art Center. It's in the Pocket in Port Salerno. You can look them up online before you head out, thefishhouseartcenter.com. Give them a call, 221-5482. And also, I want to remind everybody, Indiantown Marina is one of South Florida's best boat storage facilities. It's located inland on Okeechobee Waterway. Very well protected hurricane hole. I think we're safe now for the season. It's going to be ending here in a couple days. And they're home to many in the cruising community who find their facility ideally situated and user-friendly. It's also a do-it-yourself and full-service boat yard, so anything you need done, give the good folks at Indiantown Marina a call, 772-631-3272. Again, that's 631-3272. And finally, I want to remind everybody that with COVID, unexpected illnesses, and so many issues that can cause your successful businesses to slump deep into the red. And I know Mark Breckbell on the show ahead of me was just talking about some issues that are probably going to be coming up here with the economy. Commercial Mortgage is there to help, and they only get paid if they provide you a workout or help you with debt restructuring, because they are the negotiator between you and your creditors. And they also do a lot of other things. They do corporate foreclosures, debt restructures, but equity and new debt solutions. So if you have any areas of hotels, marinas, office buildings, restaurants, apartments, multifamily, condos, golf courses, home builders, land development, including new and repurposed developments, they can help you with the financing. Give them a call, Commercial Mortgage LLC. Visit them online, commercialmortgagellc.com, or 561-310-5295. Again, 561-310-5295. Folks, today is our last show. We have two great shows on tap, and then we're going to go on hiatus for for the month of December, and I'll be back certainly in January. But first half of the show is a repeat guest. I had him on a couple years ago already. Time flies. But I have Nick Tezeker, and he's been working as a director and producer for over 15 years. He founded Disaster Productions in 2005, a company which has become known for taking clients' ideas and initiatives and turning them into art in motion. Nick has a wide range of experience, specializing in film and music videos. Nick has shot videos for dozens of artists, including Kaya Jones, who was from Pussycats, and she was on the show with him last time. Crazy Bone, Brandon Burnett, and Leah Turner. Most recently, he's teamed up with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Journey member Jonathan Cain for music video and album design work. Nick's excellence behind the camera, intuition for storytelling, and his heart for others in everyday life sets him apart in the highly saturated entertainment industry. His enthusiasm for the work and skills behind the camera come together in a down-to-earth combination of heart and hard work without ever losing the human connection. Nick's biggest influence has always been director-producer J.J. Abrams. Quote, "I really like his style of storytelling," says Nick. "The way he portrays his stories through the art of filmmaking just blows my mind. Meeting Mr. Abrams was one of the best days of his life, and Nick aspires to work with him one day." So, Nick, how are you doing today? We got you up a little early, not too early, but a little bit
okay.
early.
I'm good. I got my coffee and I'm up and ready to go.
All right. So you are joining us again from what state? What state are you in?
The beautiful state of Idaho.
Idaho. I knew it was out west, but I wasn't sure which one. I always have to ask you that. So, love to have you. How's the weather out there anyway?
It's snowing right now.
It's 83 and sunny here. Not to
It
say
must be
anything.
nice.
I remember those snow days up north. So.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, right?
I love it. I love the snow.
So, Nick, you've got a lot of work that you've been doing, and we had you on the show last time. I know that you were working a lot with just good, wholesome storylines, something the whole family can watch. And you'll work with people of all walks of life, and especially you're looking at a lot of the actors and conservatives that were blackballed in Hollywood. So if you're conservative and they're not, finding work in Hollywood, you said, hey, we have a way for you to work here, and we want to support you. We want something that the whole family can watch, and I think that's really what's neat. And you're on the show today to kind of talk about some of those projects you're working on. Right.
So, like you said, I'm working with actors or people that just want to not necessarily have, based on their politics or anything like that, but just people that just want to work. People just want to work and tell good stories, regardless of their political views or their values or their religion or whatever it is. I just want people to work together, be able to work together as a team and just create something that's inspiring or something that's just positive and motivating for the rest of the world to see. So,
Nick, I appreciate that so much because right now it's so tough as a parent to be able to bring my child out to the movies and even cartoons, even Disney stuff. I mean, it was safe to take them to those productions. It's not anymore. So I think that's something that we desperately need in a society, is that if a parent goes and they see who the producer, who the director is, they know that their child is going to be able to watch that show. They're not going to have to shield their eyes or their ears from any part of it or explain anything that's above their ears to understand. So, I remember the days back with, Little House on the Prairie, Michael Landon. You knew if Michael Landon was involved, it was a good family, wholesome program.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, you can probably see my wall. I got James Dean and I got Charlie Chaplin right over here. I have Marilyn Monroe over here. So old Hollywood, like when film and media and entertainment was brand new, it was just people were just filming things or shooting things to just make them. It wasn't like about all the big explosions and all that stuff that it is now,
So I'm looking at Nick through Zoom. I'm fortunate to have him here in the studio on Zoom, and yes, Nick, that's when entertainment was there just for that, entertaining purposes, and that's something where unfortunately I find that so many of our entertainment venues now have a message they need to put out instead of just entertaining us. So
exactly, they just have some type of message or motive that they want to put behind it.
Whether it's political, religion, whatever, you've ran through them all. That when they have an agenda, it's a shame because we just want to go out sometimes, spend our money, and put the world's problems behind us, right?
Exactly.
And just be entertained. So that's kind of what you're doing. And we're going to be talking about a couple documentaries that you're working on. One is actually more of a movie, but the first one, Free Outside, a Colorado Trail story. We're going to be queuing up a trailer on that here right now, and then I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. It sounds really exciting. Evan, if you can play that.
This is legend.
Hey, I'm Jeff.
Jeff reached out to me and told me he wanted to go for the Colorado Trail speed record.
Here we go.
There hasn't been an unsupported FKT documented in great detail. I never shy away from a good adventure, and I could tell this was about to be one.
Once the gun goes off, we have to keep up. There's no stopping until he hits the finish line.
Jeff can just dig into a different place, I think, than anyone else can, even as his body's literally eating itself.
When it's just you relying on you, you learn a lot about you.
I had to sprint probably a 40% incline as Austin screamed at me like, "We gotta get the shot!"
Even though I've had like no sleep, I sort of feel invincible right now.
He should have been here by now, based on where we saw him last.
Cracks in the armor are starting.
He was only moving at 1 mile per hour and had a lot of ground to cover.
I've puked the last 3 days.
At this point, he's cutting it close to the record.
With how much pressure he puts on himself, if he doesn't get this, then I don't know what I could possibly do to make it any better for him.
Yeah, it doesn't completely feel like everything's real. I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Oh, dude, look at that light.
No.
Yeah. That is so good.
It is beautiful out here. Lots of wildflowers, a rainbow, and my tiger shirt.
This is Nick's documentary, Free Outside, a Colorado Trail Story. It's rated PG-13. It's witness the journey as Jeff, legend Garmeyer, attempts a 9-day fastest known time of the Colorado Trail, a 486-mile-long hiking trail from Durango to Denver, the one and only time an unsupported fastest known time has ever been documented on camera. So Nick, tell us a little bit about that. That's a amazing journey for everybody to go on, I would say, and it's a little bit on the edge of the seat too. How he ends up traversing this over 9 days, and what his health is like, and his physical abilities at the end of that.
So we shot that in 2020, in like right during
COVID,
right, like actually in right in the heart of COVID, because it was about August. We shot it 12 days at the end of August, and it was basically just he had reached out wanting to document this record attempt, and it was the record was 9 days and I believe 18 hours, and from walking from Durango, Colorado to Denver, Colorado, which is about, like I said, for about 486 miles, and we had to he wanted to do it unsupported. So what unsupported means is that he carries everything with him for the 9 days. He can't stop anywhere. He can't ask for help from anybody else. He has to carry everything with him for the entirety of the time, and it's basically just him and the nature. Like he said in the trailer, it's just him and nature. So supported is he can stop, he can go get a hotel, he can go stop at Starbucks and stuff like that. But unsupported, you can't do any of that at all.
Wow. So his food, everything has to be.
So he has to carry a backpack that has basically everything that he needs for the 9 days, or however long he's going to be out there for. So it was me, and there was about 5 other people. We all had cameras. There was a photographer, and we just set out. We actually started about 12 days. It was total, but his journey was 9 days, because we all met up about a day before he left, and then a day after he was done, and all that stuff, to get like pre-interviews and post-interviews and all that stuff. So we were there, the crew and everybody was there a total of 12 days. And then we set out to the trailheads, and he went off on his journey, and 9 days later he was at the end. So
was somebody following him, or was he carrying the cameras himself in between?
So
trailheads?
he had a couple GoPros on him, and he had a microphone. Wow. So that we could capture his audio, and he could do we call them Jeff diaries, so that he can, like a couple times a day or 3 times a day, whatever, we had asked him to kind of just turn on the camera and talk to the camera and about his experiences, what he was going through, how he was feeling, stuff like that throughout the days. And he did it. He captured I think it was about 2 or 3 times a day. He would turn on the camera and he'd just talk to the camera, and we called them the Jeff diaries. And yeah.
Wow.
And it was actually really cool, because the unsupported role of we couldn't have anybody follow him because that wouldn't have counted as the unsupported as an unsupported role. Trail hike. So he carried the cameras with him. He carried extra batteries so he could charge them, which added weight to the pack, which obviously probably wasn't the best because he had to just added weight. Carrying 3-4 batteries with them. I mean, they're small little rechargeable ones, but they still weigh a couple pounds.
Jeez.
So. And the cameras added weight and all that stuff. So he, if he didn't have those, he probably could have done it faster, but that's all right.
Did he break the record or did he make a record?
He did. He beat it by 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Or 4 hours. He did it it was 6 hours. He broke it by, it was 9 days, 12 hours.
So again, we're speaking.
And the record was 9 days, 18 hours.
Again, we're speaking with Nick Tezecker. He's with Disaster Productions, and you can look up his company. It's disasterproductions.com online. He's done a lot of work. Nick has worked, again, I mentioned a few at the top of the show, but Olivia Keegan, you might remember her from Days of Our Lives, Kaya Jones' Pussycat Dolls, Antonio Sabata Jr., General Hospital. We all remember him. John Snyder, Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, boy. I had a crush on him when I was a girl when he was in Dukes of Hazzard.
That's my boy. I still talk to him all the time. I talk to him all the time.
He came and sang at our county fair. Just a side note here. My girlfriend and I went and saw him sing. We're like, oh my gosh, it's John Snyder. And he actually shook her hand. And she's like, I'm never washing my hand again.
Yeah, I love John. He's awesome.
But yeah, that's great. So Nick has worked with a lot of folks out there. And where can people watch this film, Free Outside a Colorado Trail Story, if they want to see that, Nick?
So right now we're doing a theater run, just a circuit. So we're doing like private premieres around town. So we had one on the 19th in Denver, Colorado, and we're trying to have some more, and we're booking some more to have like a little small tour. So it's not going to be anywhere at the moment to watch unless you look up where those are going to be, but we're planning on Salt Lake City, Seattle, Arizona, and a few others in Montana, I believe.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to say, come January, February timeframe, I highly recommend South Florida. You'll enjoy it.
we can probably, I'm sure we could arrange something out there, but after that, we're looking at trying to get some type of distribution so that we can maybe get on Amazon or,
that'd be awesome.
Something like that, whatever we can find.
So another story that you're working on, this one I'm really excited to talk about, Nick, and that is Butch Cassidy's Forgotten Outlaw. It's the untold story about Henry Rhodes, Bub Meeks, the infamous outlaw that was a member of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch gang who robbed the bank in Montpelier, Idaho in 1897. So this one's super exciting. I'm going to let you tell me a little bit more why, but we all love, Yellowstone right now, so it's a Yellowstone-esque movie that you're working on. So tell us a little bit more about the background and why you chose it.
So when I came home, I was working on a project in 2021. When I came home, it was about this time actually last year that I had found out that I had a relative that was in the Butch Cassidy gang, and his name was Bub Meeks, or Henry Rhodes Meeks. And so once I found that out, I found that out from a grandfather of mine, and I found that out, and he just kind of briefly told me the story about it. And so I looked it up, found a bunch of information, and I figured that Butch Cassidy is so well known and there's not really a lot out there about him that it would probably make a really good story. So I did a bunch of research. I found a whole bunch of family members that I didn't know I had, and they all like know about him and stuff like that. So I did a lot of interviews, talked to them, got a lot of research, and I wrote a script. And I'm also in the process of doing a documentary where I interview family members talking about their cousin, uncle, however their relationship is to him. And it's basically his story told from the ancestors of him.
This is going to be a really exciting movie when it comes out because, you think about the Wild, Wild West, and especially out there in Idaho, how rough it was. And it wasn't, you think of Texas and Arizona sometimes, but if you go north where you are, the winters are harsh. And it was still a very Wild, Wild West.
And like Butch and the whole gang lived in Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. Like they all were in this whole area. So, it's a really interesting story. And I think how I have the whole film structured is going to be something special because it really is talking about Bob or Bub. He couple names, Bob or Bub, and it's really about his story, how he met Butch Cassidy, how they ended up doing the Montpelier bank robbery, and then how he ended up getting sentenced to 35 years in prison, which at that time in the 1800s, that was like the longest. It might even still be, but that was the longest prison sentencing in Idaho history.
Wow.
35 years. And all he did, and he didn't even rob the bank. He stood outside holding the horses.
Well,
So,
wow. Was anybody else sentenced along with him at the same time, or?
no, it was only him, but that's kind of where I was going with the script, is that how I have it structured is it almost, and just all the information that I've gathered with any of the other outlaws that are involved in the gang, is that if and when they tried to do something by themselves, like outside of the gang, like away from Butch Cassidy, they almost ended up getting caught or dead because of it, because it just feels like when Bub went off and on his own and did his own thing, he ended up getting caught and he ended up going to jail. Another outlaw named the Tall Texan, or Ben Kilpatrick, he went off and did his own thing, and he ended up getting killed. So it's just funny because there's like a lot of the script is probably about 85 or 90% factual, because just based on like all the true events and stuff that I have. So it's actually really interesting, and just like it shows the juxtaposition between Bob being in prison and Butch Cassidy becoming the famous outlaw, and how Bub could have become the same thing. And it's just like it shows the juxtaposition. It bounces back and forth between Butch doing his outlaw and Bub in prison, and kind of just witnessing his best friend become this big famous outlaw.
Right. This was really before Butch was as famous.
Yeah, they met but like the Montpelier was kind of the start of it all.
Okay. Oh, that's it. I can't wait to see this when you get this put together. Is there something folks can do or help you out? I mean, how does your studio work? And, when are you going to start filming this? And when can we actually see the final product?
Well, I'm in the process of raising money, and I feel like I'm very, very close to closing, which would be great. And so I have a whole cast ready to go. My estimated shoot date would probably be about April. And then hopefully in a year from now, I'm able to put it out and get it out in the world and finished.
Well, Nick, I think we could do another whole show. It'd be fascinating to find out what's behind the scenes of putting these movies together. You're kind of laying out a time frame here. Obviously, you have to get supporters of it. Somebody wants to finance it, and you're pretty much there. And
well, reach out to them. They can go reach out to my website, Disaster Productions, and they can just send me a direct email from there.
Disasterproductions.com.
Yep.
Nick, you've been doing this for how many years?
Since I was 18, 19. I'm 32 now, so I don't know,
doing
15,
this a
16
long
years.
A long time. So, Nick's, and you've got a lot of samples and stuff on your website. Again, disasterproductions.com. I highly recommend you check Nick out. But this Butch Cassidy's Forgotten Outlaw is going to be a really exciting movie. I cannot wait to see it personally.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I think it's going to be something special for the world to see, because it's just the story and how it's going to be inspiring for everybody.
It truly is. And, again, it's something the whole family can watch. And that's what's exciting about this as well.
And it falls under the category of what I was talking about like inspiring, because I've made it to where it's like, don't get an ego type of thing.
Right. And that's really a good lesson for that, right?
Yeah. Like I said, they all go off on their own, and they kind of end up getting killed or in prison away from Butch. They got an ego,
So did Bub make it out of prison?
He escaped 3 times.
Oh my goodness! There's more to the story.
There's more to the story. He escaped 3 times.
So I see you already have your actors lined up for the movie. You got R.J. Is it Mitt? Mitty. Aaron Schwartz, Eric Nelson, Carlo Mendez, Costas Mandylor.
Thank
you. That's terrible. James Duvall, Ashley Wood, and Hudson West. So Nick.
I also have Kathy Moriarty too.
Very good. Nick, this is going to be very exciting. Please give me a jingle back when you're getting close to ready to release this movie. We've got to make sure we get it out there and everybody sees it. So
I will do so.
Hey, happy holidays. Wonderful to have you on the show. Stay warm out there in Idaho, and it's good chatting with you again.
You as well. Thank you so much.
You got it. Next up, Rob Ranieri, House of Hope.